Howdy there, my chimp chams. Welcome back to One Great Manga War. Hopefully you're having a fantastic day today. And today we'll be going over my top 5 favorite protagonists in manga. And without further ado, let's get started. But before we start, let's make some ground rules. And the only ground rule is one character per franchise. So that I think that only really hits like Jojo, but anyway, let's jump into our number 5. In number 5 we have Mob from Mob Psycho 100. Mob Psycho 100 is such a fantastic series. The main character Mob is one of the main reasons why. He starts out as kind of like this really weak character, and he eventually becomes a really great person. He starts out like having to hide his emotions before eventually learning to accept his emotions, and seeing him go through that journey is something that is absolutely amazing for the series and for the people to watch as they watch his personal growth, and it's just so good. So number 5 is Mob. Number 4 we have Goku from Dragon Ball Z. Goku is, in my opinion, one of the best shonen protagonists ever for the series that he's in. He's literally perfect for what he needs to do, and he does it perfectly. Goku is a very kind-hearted person who really loves fighting. And a lot of people don't realize is that he's a lot more complex than what he first comes out to seem like. He may be very kind and likes fighting a lot, but he isn't dumb. He knows when it's time to, take stuff seriously and protect the people he cares about. Besides maybe Super. Man, Super's anime definitely did him dirty, but we're talking about Z in Dragon Ball. He's a fantastic protagonist for that series and pushes the series forward in many ways. And for that, I gotta say, is a very smart thing on Akira Toriyama. So Goku is number 4. Alright, so number 3 is one that most people really wouldn't think of as a good guy, would be Light Yagami from Death Note. Light Yagami is one of the few protagonists I can think of that goes through a negative character arc, and the negative character arc he goes through so freaking good. Oh my word. Okay, so he starts out as this pretty much this big brain guy. He's like, oh, I'm big and smart and I know more than most people, but he doesn't shove it in your face. So one day he finds the Death Note and he's like, I could change the world for the better. He's like, oh, I'm gonna test that real quick. So he tests on a thug and it works. And he's like, oh my goodness, I could use this for the greater good. Slowly we start seeing cracks in his, what he believes to be justice and right, when he kills the guy who's coming after him, L, on TV for the first time. That's when you start to realize, well, what he believes himself to be isn't that good. As good as he makes them out to be. So then, slowly throughout the series, he goes through manipulating people and trying to get his way and killing people that shouldn't have been killed, that were good people, and only died only because Light had the notebook. And as the series goes on, you slowly see him descend into madness, and it is such an enthralling thing to see for a character like him. So number 3 for me is Light Yagami. And for our next character, my line will be, for number 2, we have Joseph Joestar. And for number 2, we have Joseph Joestar. Wait. Alright, so Joseph Joestar is from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And JoJo's Bizarre Adventure has some of the greatest protagonists and antagonists in all of manga. And Joseph Joestar is no slouch. Joseph Joestar, especially in part 2, is a very lighthearted, joking individual. He's also very smart and uses that to his advantage, using his brains to oftentimes get out of situations that seem very dire and that he can't get out of. And that's one thing that is super cool about him, is his ability to think on his feet and kind of go back. Like he's like, okay, I can't win right now, let me think about it, and do his little runaway thing. And he comes back to it later and is like, oh, I know how to figure it out now. And that's just really cool and something that you really don't see that often. So for me, number 2 is Joseph Joestar from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And the final one, number 1, the one I cannot give any more praise, number 1 is Onizuka from Great Teacher Onizuka. And oh my word, is he, in my opinion, the most entertaining protagonist in manga, like, ever. So Onizuka is a 22-year-old teacher. He isn't the first thing that comes to mind when you think of teacher. He's very loudmouthed, perverted, very emotional, and is very emotionally driven. And due to that, he really cares about his students, and he will do anything for them. And his character is just super freaking fun to just watch him just do stuff. He's one of the few characters where I'm like, if you could stick him in any situation and he would be instantly hilarious, and you would enjoy every second of it because of how much of a presence he commands in everything. From biker gangs to teacher, he's been in a lot of different situations, and he's excelled in every single one that he's in. For a protagonist to be able to just jump different types of genres like that and still be entertaining in each one that he's in is such an amazing feat for the mangaka and the manga itself. So I cannot give more praise than I can for Onizuka. And if you have not read GTO yet, what the heck are you doing? Go read it, go watch it, just go freaking read it or watch it. You need some good lighthearted stuff in your life. Go do it, man. To recap, we have Mob from Mob Psycho 100. He starts out as a loser and eventually grows up to be accepting his emotions and using them for the greater good, and that's something that I really enjoy about his character. What you can learn from him is that you becoming better helps the people around you, and that's an amazing thing. Number 4, we have Goku. He's literally the perfect protagonist for the series that he's in, and it is such an amazing thing that he was able to do with him. Goku loves fighting, is very energetic, enthusiastic, and just loves people and fighting and food. It's just really awesome for what he is for his series. Number 3, we have Light Yagami. He is one of the few negative character arc characters that I can think of off the top of my head, and is such a fantastic example of it. Going from a character who seems very smug and thinks a lot about himself but doesn't like shove it into your face, to becoming someone who becomes mentally insane and believes he's the only one that is fit to rule this world and only he can do it, is such a very interesting concept for a character. It is so much fun watching it all come down and eventually kind of bite him in the butt. And then number 2, we have Joseph Joestar. Joseph Joestar is such a fantastic character, and is an absolute blast watching him just go through whatever he gets himself into. His abilities to think on his feet and realize that he's in a bigger pickle than he needs to be in, and take a step back and think about it, is something that you really don't see a lot. He is a very analytical character, but is very fun about it too. He's very lighthearted and is a lot of fun to watch. And then finally, and for number 1, we have Onizuka. And oh man, is Onizuka absolutely fantastic at what he does and who he is. Onizuka really just lets himself be bare, sometimes literally. You see him for who he is. He doesn't like try to hide it from anybody, and that's something that's really awesome in a character, and something that a lot of people could take in their life. He's very emotionally driven, instinctual, perverted, and oftentimes gets himself way over his head. But because of that, you just can't help but like him. His ability to help others when they need it most, and get themselves out of their head and help them out, is such an amazing thing that he's able to do. And for that series, is just amazing. And the fact he's one of the few characters I can think of that can be jumped from different genres and still be interesting to watch in. Going from biker gangs to teacher, it's such an amazing thing being able to watch and just see what he does. So yeah, that is my top 5 protagonist list, guys. Thank you all for watching my beautiful Chim Chams. Have a fantastic day, and go out there and read some manga, my friends.